And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is game 1, week 3. Here we go, racing to the crown. I hope you're excited. I know we are. So let's hop on over to our first player. Taking a look here, Jarl and Tinny. And you talked about Tinny, and Tinny actually competed in week 2.
Yeah.
It did phenomenally.
No, he's a super, super impressive player. You know, again, don't sleep on him today. We're hopping right on board off the break. So, you know, things we saw yesterday, popular landings. It was way more popular to go for some of the lesser-known spots on the map or lesser-landed spots on the map in your normal games. For example, I can tell you right now,
someone coming to the house.
Tinny's playing in a normal duos game. He's not landing up here on this mountain. Right. He's landing retail or salty or shifty, maybe tilted. Not landing at this one house. There's actually a team here with him already, and this could either be an early elim or an early, you know, knock and potential death here for Tinny.
I like the setup, though, finding himself the dual pistols and a boogie bomb. If he could land that boogie bomb, I mean, you talked about this yesterday. It's like 5 seconds of just kind of dance and free damage.
What's huge, too, is he actually gets wood off of the ground instantly, which 20 wood, literally the difference in 2 walls. When you have no real trees and wood structures up here, the difference in being able to build 2 walls could be between winning and losing. I think they're calling for it. I think Tinny and Jarl are going all out, and there's that instant knock. These dual pistols in the hands of an enemy that are accurate are absolutely deadly.
Wow, and that was Fatu. Fatu also competed there in week 2. No, you got this. Tinny, just let... Oh, wow. Okay. So that is going to be it for Tinny and his team there from game 1. Hopping over to King Richard and Svenos.
Gotta loot the shack to the left. I didn't see that.
I actually like this duo quite a bit.
Oh, this duo they're very, very scary. King Richard, we've seen him perform so many times in these online competitions. I believe his solo win rate is something close to 45 or 50% in the solo playlist, which is just crazy. And then Svenos, if he's not pushing for a high elimination game, is he even playing? Because I'm pretty sure every time I tune in, I'm like, oh, he's got 14 limbs already. Good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Hopping over here, we've got City Driver and Hamry. And they're hanging on Tilted Towers.
Yeah, and I like they're rocking the scoreboard on the overlay. And you can hear they're in Tilted. It's that reverse psychology thing, right? Typically, most packed area. In this, though, people are trying to stay hidden. Tilted is not what you're normally used to. They've landed here. 0 limbs so far. Looting up every building that they can.
So why land? So obviously we have 10 games, right?
Yep.
So why land Tilted in your first game? Do you think that's a smart play?
I think it just sets the tone for the day. Tilted has become a much more appealing drop, especially for me, because of the new building that was added, because of those wooden pallets you see on your screen right there. Yes, they have eyes on some enemies inside the Tacos building. But if I'm harming a City Driver right now, I'm crossing to the mid building and breaking every single one of these pallets. They're already at 150 and 175 shield. It looks like they just want to go for this. And them nading this, I'm assuming that there's some sort of I was assuming there was some sort of fight already over there and that the player was weak, right? And that's why they went for it. They third-partied that engagement, meaning someone was either just eliminated or they were mid-fight and they were expecting players to be weak. There's the Chug Jug and Hunting Rifle as well. They're going to grab both of these items. And that's as free an limit you can get. And now look at his wood. Typically in Tilted, if you had 500 wood, you had to have farmed 3 or 4 buildings and really gotten everything.
Yeah.
Now, though, they farm budget Ls. They move right on over to the new building, get those pallets, and boom. He just got ridiculous loot out of those last 2
What
chests.
is happening? He's getting super lucky right now. That's awesome.
Yeah, Harmy just got put in a really good position to succeed this game.
Oh, yeah. Let's actually hop on over to the Solary guys right now. Looks like they're landing here just outside of Shifty Shafts, and this is the guys with the cool setup I was talking about.
Yeah.
Swapping between them. So let's see how they're doing.
And Kinstar and MZQ. I'm just expecting them to do well. For me, if I had to compare these two to maybe a duo we saw in yesterday's tourney, it's gonna and again, I don't know exactly where they stack up in skill as much as I know how good Liquid, Chap and 72 Hours are, but I kind of see them being in a similar position to those two from yesterday.
Okay.
Kinstar and MZQ will see their success if they can get materials and get shields. From then on out, if they have those two items, I expect them to be able to take on anyone in the lobby, just like 72 Hours and Chap.
So as a high-level player, if you're the Story guys and you're just outside of Shifty, what's the rotation, right?
Right now, they're just slowly moving towards the zone. The key thing for them is they don't want to be third-partied, meaning have another team begin to engage on them when they're already in a fight ahead of them. For example, if they're pushing into the zone and they're fighting someone on the edge of the storm, they do not want to have someone who's pushing out of the storm begin to shoot at them in the back, drop their shields, force them to have to pick between two different fights. That's the key thing for them. But here we go, an engagement now coming on in from Mikolo and Roby.
Oh, and they're they're on the edge of the map. The circle's not that far, honestly.
Yeah, no, they're more than fine. It's still 2.5 minutes. They literally can fight this for a full 2 minutes and still get to the zone in time.
Oh, wow, they're getting lasered from different directions right now.
That's his teammate on the top left, and a wonderful hunting rifle shot comes on in, and now it's a 2 versus 1. They've got to push their advantage. They want to get this elimination before third party gets involved. You see the pyramids trying to be built. This is all just panic building, trying to buy themselves any time to potentially pop some minis or some healing. Their goal right now for Mikolo and Roby is stop them from doing any of this. This player absolutely solid with the builds, but they haven't been able to heal. They have not popped a mini, they have not popped a bandage, and I fear that the end is near.
Oh, they just dropped a stink bomb on him.
There he goes.
Oh, well, there you go. They find themselves the elimination, so that's 2 points. 2 eliminations, only 3 more necessary, and they're going to hit the board with 2 points.
And look, I mean, there's still, I mentioned the 2.5 minutes almost there on the clock. If he wanted to right now, he could stop. Mikolo can stop. They can fully medkit right now. They can pop these minis, and they still will have time before the zone. From what I've been described, and don't quote me exactly on this, but if you see how the map is a big grid, I've heard from some people that to cross from one side of the grid to the other is around 45 seconds in time, in running time.
Okay.
So, again, that might be a little bit off, but again, if you look at the zone and you see, hey, we're about a grid away, 45 seconds should be enough to reach it.
Okay. And this here is Rof, and again, we see this. Wait, did he just? Oh, it was
that player just had their shields dropped, so that clinger, if it hit, would have instantly knocked the player. I would have rather have seen him throw 2 right there and shoot out the ramp so it instantly explodes. That is 1 knock. The storm is now there, so they're going to have to go for these elims quickly. Remember, this storm just does 1 damage. Even when it closes, it will only do 1 damage. And they're not too far away. But unfortunately, teammate now knocked. Oh, this is a rough spot to be in now.
Do you think the enemy just goes for the elim, or?
Oh, I think that player just died to the storm. I think that player either just got eliminated by a third party or something. Yeah, that player just got either died to the storm or was knocked out by another opponent. Unfortunately, I don't read the language that the engagement feed is in, so I'm not going to be able to tell you what happened. I could pretend that I know what those words say, but then I'd probably be fired.
What's interesting, too, is they kind of have to get to that body very quickly. I still take damage, right?
Yeah, so you take 2 seconds of tick damage already, like 2 damage, I believe, every couple seconds or second when you're knocked, but then when you're in the storm, you're obviously taking that extra tick of damage. So that just drops you so much quicker, and just like that, immediately lost the storm as Kexville. They'll have to wait for match 2 to start on up later on to get back into the action.
He's got to hope that Rof can find himself a few more eliminations. I mean, if they can pick up 4 more, they're going to find themselves on the scoreboard, so we'll have to see how that goes.
But the awkward thing is no healing left in that player. Now switching on over to Reflection and Hex.
Dude, we saw Reflection show up super hard in Week 2. Reflection is a phenomenal player. I'm really excited to see him in his play.
Right now, they're just trying to buy some time. You saw the strategy right there. Break your opponent's build and then try to place your own build down so you can begin to edit it and use it to peak whenever you feel it's the right time for yourself. I do like that Hex and Reflection are sticking together in their movement. They see this little 1x1 brick box being built, so they're expecting this player's just around here somewhere. He's now got eyes on. The shot's coming on in. The wall broken. Again, spraying down different walls, and there's that third party we're talking about. Another team now shooting at them. That makes this whole engagement so much more different. They've got to keep track of where not only this enemy is that's close, but also the enemies pushing from the mountain nearby.
And so when you are getting third party, what can you kind of do to maybe mitigate that a little bit, or just buy yourself enough time, right?
Ya amına koyayım. İkisini de öldürdün mü?
Well,
Solarilermiş bunlar.
That is, they literally just got eliminated because that other player got involved. That is exactly what. See that you saw them right there.
Right.
Scoped assault rifle, free damage, beautifully done. 4 limbs already on this player.
Oh my gosh. So this is back to Mikolo and Roby. So this is Roby here with 4 Elim. So if Mikolo has even 1 Elim,
So
they already have 2
this
points.
is that built up a structure. Exactly. I was about to say, that is not a strong, healthy structure. They're going to drop the... Beautifully done. Absolutely beautifully done. You were looking at the bottom. It gets to a point where, again, you look at how high the build is going, and you just have to think and say, there's not a lot supporting that. They're getting way too ahead of themselves, building up that high. Let's punish them for it right now. I almost would rather see that player just pop that mini. It takes 2 quick seconds.
Just 2 seconds, right?
But it looks like they almost kind of panic and just begin to leave it behind because the storm is pushing. Remember, this week it was updated. The second zone used to close in 90 seconds. Now it takes a full 2 minutes. So you have an extra 30 seconds to move on in. You can basically outrun it from anywhere, and you're seeing that right now.
And something to keep in mind as well was that last elimination, that player fell to their death. They didn't actually, it didn't count toward their team. They didn't put any damage on them, so when they fell, they just were eliminated.
Unfortunate to say the least.
Oh, Grey Fox finds Ralph. Man.
And that was from earlier, right? We watched that team push out of the storm. Kexville obviously did perish to the storm. They had no healing left. When you've got 40 HP in a lobby like this, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to really get much going for you.
Hopping over to City Driver and Hammer, we saw them. They eliminated a few, I believe it was 2 squads before. So I think they're very close to that 5 elim threat. That was a rocket to the face.
And that rocket is only possible because the rocket has the high ground. He basically saw the back of that build and let it basically play a net and catch the rocket for him. When you're facing rockets, the number 1 way you don't get eliminated by it is to make sure they don't have the ability to shoot down on you. That's when it becomes almost impossible to defend yourself.
38 players still remaining, so it looks like the circle's going to end just around Dusty Divot. What do you do in these types of situations, especially as like a high-level player? What is the thought process, right? Everyone's running from the storm. There's probably still players inside the storm. They're going to find their way in. What can you do to try and set yourself up for the late game?
Oh man, this actually should be a little bit of a more awkward end, because if this was back in maybe Season 4 when Dusty Divot didn't have all this cover, I would be like, well, you want to make sure you're not in the divot because then everyone can just shoot down on you. But now, you can't even see. Look at that. I mean, you are just completely covered if you're in the divot from the outside world. So at this point, I'm like, hey, maybe we play in the divot and we just kind of use this natural cover to protect us and let everyone fight around us where there's not many trees. Because on the edge of divot, there's not many trees anywhere. Beautiful shot on the Cody, though, from 100, or from 94 meters, sorry. They're going to look to push this engagement now as they've got the advantage.
That's huge. And you talked about this. Maybe that player just didn't see them. You know, these trees provide cover, but they also block line of sight. So you never know where anyone is. But there they go.
And there's the elim. And also, if you saw the player Harmy, he got the snipe on the player behind that tree. But because in these lobbies, so many players only break the trees down to 50 HP. You saw him just kind of quickly spray that cover down, and they expose that player that was knocked, which basically forces the hand of the opponent to say, hey, if you want to be able to get me up, I no longer have cover I'm hiding behind. They can finish the elimination on me. You got to rush here right now. You saw them then trying to sprint on over. They then catch them on the cross, and it's an easy cleanup.
Absolutely. This is Sage, and they're hanging out in the bottom part of the map there toward Paradise. This is actually my favorite area, this new desert biome. It's just different.
Oh, I love it. I hope more biomes get introduced to the map, as the seasons go on. And if you're wondering, wow, there's still 35 people left in this final in these storms. Yes, that is standard for how these lobbies are. Again, because eliminations are now valued more, we're seeing more and more engagements. Here again, back on over to Harmy. Already 4 limbs to his name this game so far.
But City Driver actually picked up the last elim there within Dusty, so their team has 2 points, and they're now on the board. This is Simbuk and Ukes. We actually saw Ukes compete last week in Week 2, and he made it super far up the leaderboard. They're also here fighting. Oh, that was Harmy! He finds Harmy! We'll have to see if he decides to secure the elim there, or if he just tries. I mean, he's only got 14 HP, right? And dude, he really doesn't have any ammo or any weapons.
But what I'm wondering is this a third party getting involved? I think it is, yeah. That was a completely different name that just knocked out his teammate. And now Ukes is by himself with 14 health. The key thing, though, look at the top left of your screen. Because of the third party now getting involved and Ukes being so weak, Ukes has to just make the conscious decision that I've got to forget about these guys for now. And there you go.
The Supremacy guys
knocked that out.
Them.
And Supremacy just got...
Oh, they find Harmy. There were grenades.
Exactly. They knew that there was another team inside those brick structures. Supremacy just threw, I believe, 5 or 6 grenades, knocked out 2 players, elimed another. Brilliant stuff there. That was 3 quick elims for that Supremacy duo.
Yeah, they now have, looks like, 4 eliminations on the board. So, Courage, we kind of talked about this when we were talking about the score values, but... You know, a lot of players, some might consider going for just the victory out. It's worth the 4 points.
Yep.
And some might be worth, feel the need to go for the 5 eliminations. But once you do hit that 5 elimination threshold, you don't need any more, right? You just say, okay, I've got the guaranteed 2 points. How would that shift their game and shift their mindset as they go into those final circles?
The way I describe it is you just no longer need to be a hero. You don't need to be forcing the agenda. You can just go ahead and kind of pick your poison to wait for the final perfect moment. Here's a look now at Svenos and King Richard as they're just playing right on the edge. If you look at the minimap, they're just above these.
Yeah, they're above them.
Oh wow!
Niccolo and Roby are literally below them right now.
Yep. And this is now where every move you see, it's no longer going to be running out in the open. You're going to see players beginning to build little tunnels for themselves, pyramids on top, every bit of cover possible.
Left side, I think.
Will save them. I will say, I think that there's more players left by about 5 or 6 in this lobby compared to most of what we saw from the North American lobbies.
Yeah, it was right around 24 was kind of the average.
Yep.
I hear him.
And they can hear these players close up.
So when do you decide to move, right? You've got 11 seconds before the circle comes in. When do you think is an optimal time for any team in this type of situation to start moving towards the circle?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword because it's either you move with everyone else and then it's just so hectic, or you begin to move a little bit early and you're kind of the first ones that everyone's seeing move and they try to get the free shots on you like you saw right there. It really depends on the structures around you and how confident you are in your ability to react quickly to being shot at. I think it was the right call from Svenos and King Richard to move a little bit early on, but as I say that, we swap back. King Richard just got an elimination, but look at his health now, and he's going to have to move on in too. This could spell disaster for this duo right here.
The guys must be off the hill.
Yeah, they definitely, I mean, they've got minis, right? So Svenos has minis, so they can pass some of those over to King Richard.
I can't build.
And I think they're going to, okay, so they're going for the supply drop.
I got a chug jug.
He got a chug jug.
Oh, wow, and a half shield there. So either of them could top off. I mean, King Richard is going to have...
But the big thing is, though, the storm is there already. King Richard cannot stop and use this chug jug. They have to continue to move on in. So King Richard is still at just around 65 HP. Now you've got Svenos stuck in the storm, and that storm's hitting for 5. And you see the player close on up, spraying down all these builds. This is a worst-case scenario. King Richard trying to use the chug jug, hasn't been able to yet. Down to just 25 HP. Stink bombs coming in as well.
You good?
And you hear him say, "You good? You good?"
Keep building. Whatever you need to do.
I think if King Richard can get this chug jug off, it changes the whole game for this duo.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to be able to, though.
I think Svenos had to use the half pot there before just to keep himself alive, but so he doesn't have any effective health to play with. I mean, he's got a ton of minis, right? But that's not, if someone can burst him down very quickly, that's going to just eat into his health bar, and that'll be it.
Oh, for sure.
Just keep building, dude. You just got to keep building.
I'm assuming King Richard is probably taking the chug jug right now.
Yep.
Oh, dude, no, he's only using his health is going up, so I think he's using bandages.
I think he was off the start because he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to use the chug jug in time. So he wanted again. The difference in 20 hit points and 50 hit points is that one bullet of, let's say, a SCAR or an AR can't instantly eliminate you.
Right.
So it's literally just buying yourself the last little bit of HP. I mean, how many times have we seen players one shot win a battle? 2 bandages could be the difference there. I like that. Until he knew he was safe and could take the full 15 seconds to chug jug, he was just earning himself every little HP he could, every little bit of HP he could. And now, boom, we swap back. He's dropped the bandages down to Svenos. King Richard is now maxed on health and shields, and they're close to the zone. This game just became a lot more winnable for Svenos and King Richard.
Yep, and the storm is now within. The next circle is actually within the storm, and that's something that was introduced in Season 5. Oh, I don't think he took fall damage. I don't think he was high enough.
There's another player very, very close. King Richard now being shot in the back. You can see those panic walls being built, and Svenos just kind of has to go.
And we talked about this earlier a lot, Courage. Those finals are... Oh, no, he goes down.
Damn.
Oh, and someone finds...
Well, that was Roby.
Roby okay.
And I mean, this team has to have like 6 or 7 elims at this point. Because I think Roby had 4 very early in the game. But as I say that, I think the end is near. Grenades coming on in. This zone is hitting for 10. Thankfully, Mikolo is just outside.
Just outside. I think Roby's going to fall, though. I don't think there's anything Mikolo can do.
No way.
I think he just has to let him go, right?
Wait, well, actually, there are still 2 teams fighting, so they might kind of forget that he's here for a second. Oh, and as I say that, here comes the shots.
They find him immediately. Do you think he tries to just go for it?
Oh, no!
Oh, no!
There it is.
He's eliminated. So look, here's Teddy by himself. Still 14 players left here, Courage, at different elevations. Oh, they find power!
It is power. Power spells his name with a 3, so that's the power that I was talking about in the pre-show. Look at this. So right there, again, when there's so much going on and you're kind of a solo and other teams are fighting, edit out. Take the free shot, edit back in. It's like you're only showing yourself when you know you've got free damage. And now look at all this loot. Look at the materials.
Oh, wow, he's about to be capped.
Almost 3,000 materials in total. While Teddy is low on HP. Oh, this is going to hurt. That is going to hurt.
He's got to be careful.
40 damage taken from that storm when he didn't need to take any.
Oh, he took a huge hit as well. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Pate finds him there. Now we're down to 8 players. Oh, man, he also, Pate takes a ton of damage from the storm.
Oh, that might... Oh, I thought that was going to get a kill.
Dude, I think he was just outside. It was super, super close.
Bandages are medkit being popped right now. Will be bandages.
You know what I think is really scary as well in these types of situations is when you eliminate a player, you don't have the normal amount of time, right? Normally in-game, you eliminate someone, you can kind of walk over and take your time, loot what you need. But in this situation, the storm starts to move very, very quickly, so you don't have that time to stop and kind of find the loot that you want.
And from what we've been seeing, the reason why now playing the low ground has started to be beneficial to playing the high ground is when everyone's having to build and when people are low on materials, instead of it being able to just kind of cloud out the sky and knowing, hey, if they try to shoot us down, we can just cover that, you know, that one area that was kind of shot on down, or hey, we can just drop down to their structures and not take all the fall damage and die. Here, when you're having to move and you're on the high ground, you're basically building a sky bridge, and you do not have enough materials to make that 5, 6 wide. So it's an easy thing for 2 players to target focus down one area to be able to shoot down that structure and knock the players down to the high ground. See those players right there? Look, see how the bridge is too wide? If that was a little bit higher up and they got the instant knock and team shot that, those players would be knocked to fall damage and be dead.
Just wants to get in that zone, baby.
4 players in total.
Oh, wow. So they eliminate 2 players. There's only 4 players remaining. I think this is a 2v2.
Might just be. You see they're trying to break on out.
Yeah, don't
Shots still coming in from the roof. Rocket in hand of Herma. That tree is just blocking everything, and now here come the Splodes. They're dropping the players down to even playing field. One just above, gonna have to build that roof for cover. Herma, 1 player close. Not sure exactly where his teammate stands in HP. The zone now beginning to move as well, so you're about to see some sort of acrobats have to come on in from Herma. Crouch under this. Look at this. Dodging, ducking, dipping. There's the rocket, and now all 4 players are on even playing field, and there it is, BNQ. 5 elims. That's a Royale flush to start there in game number 1. Here it is from BNQ's perspective. 19 HP. That just saved them. The fact that that wall can be broken in 2 hits and that rocket just narrowly misses.